And here we are again for another edition of Trey's Chow Live out here in Texas. Today we got Chef Mike Newton. Chef,
how you doing this morning? Good morning.
Good, man. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you bet. So fresh off the state fair, we're going to do these hot topics, and then we're going to talk to you about all that and what's going on.
Look forward to it.
All right, buddy. All right, so we got the state fair of Texas here in Texas, which is going is really big. When does that fair end?
Next Sunday week.
Sunday a week. So we still got another 2 weeks left, man.
Right.
Yeah, it's awesome. And also this week in Dallas, finally, the World Food Championships come to Dallas. That is a massive event. It's a 4-day event, October 16th to the 20th. You can still get tickets. It's got all kinds of food battles, steaks, cookout. I mean, it is like 2,000 different. It's unbelievable.
It's crazy.
Crazy. Are you gonna go?
I'm gonna go. I got a few friends in it. So I could go, support them all.
Oh yeah,
as long
that's
as we're
awesome.
not competing each other. I ride the middle of the road.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then Grace, we're October 25th. We're having a celebrity chef dinner, and they're collaborating. It's Chef Blaine and Chef Cody, and it's a 10-course dinner. The table's all long, all outside, set up on the patio on Grace and Sundance Square for. It's going to be awesome.
Are tickets still available for that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're available. All you have to do is call Grace and get tickets, and they're available, and you can have at it. And we have a new place opening up tomorrow night in Fort Worth called Low Key Tavern. And everybody knows I like to drink a little whiskey every now and then.
Nothing wrong with a little brown liquor.
No, there's not. That opens up in Fort Worth. It's a new place, Low Key Tavern in West Fort Worth. Look it up on social media or Google it. That's Low Key, key like you put in the door, Tavern. Okay, we're fixing to get here with Mike right now. Chef Mike. All right, Mike, let me put these up real quick. I'm going to put these up. All right, buddy. So I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, man.
It's always a pleasure to see you.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. So you're fresh off the state fair. What'd you do out there? You invited me. I couldn't make it. I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to come see you that morning too, and I couldn't make it.
Yeah.
I mean, our timing was just a little bit off, but we did a demonstration. What used to be the old tap building, where they had the jellies, the jams, and all the quilts, and we did a bread pudding with a TX whiskey cream sauce to go with it. So we did a demonstration on it. We passed out a few samples.
TX whiskey sauce.
Yeah, we had a little TX whiskey.
Yeah. So let me set the stage a little bit. I saw Mike for the first time. I knew him before, but I saw him actually for the first time on MasterChef with old Gordon Ramsay. And I saw the cowboy hat, and of course, he just stuck with me after that. Have I ever seen another one on there since then? I haven't.
What's that?
Have I ever seen another chef on there wears a cowboy hat?
No, one tried to go through last year on I was season 8, season 9, but they had just a quick glimpse of him. He was out of there.
Yeah.
I think I may have been the second cowboy to be on the show.
Yeah.
I got the furthest. I was the oldest man that got the furthest.
Yeah.
Too.
You know what? You're the one that stuck in everybody's mind, so it doesn't matter.
Right, it does.
That's right.
It's been a pleasure since being on the show. This last year I haven't really watched this last show. I'm going to I've waited to decide I want to watch it in one full sitting. I'm waiting for some bad weather, and we would have had it, probably today, but I mean, I need some good cold weather. I want to watch it from beginning to end.
Yeah, when he says bad weather, he's a celebrity chef. He's also raises a bunch of money. How much money has your charity raised?
We're over $800,000 right now.
$800,000. That's after MasterChef, and you're also a rancher.
I am a rancher. And I'm not very good at it, but who is good at it nowadays?
So when you say bad weather, that means you can't get out and do anything. So
absolutely,
people don't know. That's why I say that.
Well, actually, you do. You get out about 4:35 in the morning. You're done by 6 or 7. My joke is I get more done by 9 o'clock in the morning than most people do all day. But after that, then that rain, snow weather, I want to watch it from beginning to end. I watched the little highlights of it. I got called out by a couple of them because of teasing and stuff. But it's always a great to watch. And every year, I think since I can't believe what they did last year. Yeah. And then this year they've done some crazy things, and it's amazing how it just keeps notching up a little bit more and more.
Ratchet up, yeah.
It's just even the kids on that MasterChef Junior amaze me.
That's amazing. I can't believe. What was your most memorable moment for MasterChef for you?
Probably winning the steak challenge was one of the best.
Well, I would hope you win the steak challenge being the beef.
Well, I messed up lamb, and they gave me a hard time, and I wasn't, and that really probably what took me from being that timid or I was a little tempered,
right? And
then I threw caution to the wind. But and also when I lost on the show, I say, because we were doing it in Vegas, we're on top of Caesar's Palace, supposedly Cher's condo overlooking the Strip, and I like to say I won it, but you don't win it unless you get the trophy, and I didn't get the trophy, but I got sent home. And if you're gonna get sent home anywhere, Vegas is the place to be. I think it was so intimidating in a way that you're cooking for three of the probably the top chefs, or I had Tosi, Christine Tosi, one of the best bakers, Milk Bar. Then I had Aaron Sanchez, who's been probably, I could probably say 10 years before, as someone I've always followed and respected a lot. And then Gordon Ramsay, probably one of the greatest chefs.
I love him.
He was just in Stephenville last week. So
he was
2 weeks ago.
Oh, I saw it. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
I didn't get to go see him. I had to be, I don't know where I was. I had some showing going on somewhere. Oh, I was in Houston. That's where I had my little mess up. But we're down in Houston. But I'd love to have seen him. But, being on that show is just incredible. People don't understand,
the dynamics of that show.
It is, and it really makes you a better cook, a better chef. I call myself a home cook. I don't know if I could wear the title of chef, but I know a bunch of boys that went to school that became chefs, and they can't hold a candle to me. But but I didn't do the full pattern like a low stuff do. You look at the chefs out there that have done it and worked their way from France or Culinary Institute and dedicated their time and started the way up. There's a lot of respect for guys like that. Right.
Now, you tell everybody what happens. When they say a chef gets sent home, he doesn't get sent home. He gets sent right there.
Yeah, you get sent home.
You can't go to your house. So you stay in Vegas, right, until the show's over.
No, no, you get sent home. But we were filming in California, Van Nuys, and all over California, really. And so I was in Vegas, and I lost. And so we filmed that about 2:30 in the morning,
right?
When we did, because of the heat and stuff. Right. We were out there in August, so we were doing it on top. And so I lost the competition that far, and I shouldn't even been in the challenge, but I don't care. I like a challenge, and so they did. So the next morning they got us up because we did the same thing, filmed late at night, and then went and ate a brunch and stuff, rest, relax, and I messed my knee up the night before. It was a little rainy, and I slipped on the stage. I had the plexiglass stage, and hurt my knee a little bit, so I kind of sucked it up. But I was mad as hell because I got in. They drove the bus right over me, so I said, I'm going to win this thing, and I got up there, and it was a crazy competition. We had to do one of Gordon's dishes, Chef Ramsay's. Respect to him. It was a champagne poached oyster, topped with homemade angel hair pasta, then a beurre blanc, and then we did it with batons of celery and carrots, and then we did a little chervil, and then you topped it with caviar. And if anyone didn't watch the show, caviar 1, Newton 0.
Yeah.
I couldn't get that jar open, but I
remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I could have thrown that jar off the side of that building, but I'd probably be in jail right now. You don't want to throw anything off top of building in LA. In Las Vegas.
Yeah.
But it was a crazy experience, and if I got it open, I would have won. I mean, it was funny. When you film the show and then they start doing the show, the people start following you. And it got to be pretty heated, Yashika, whom I lost to, which is a good friend of mine, dear good friend of mine. She and I, people were like wanting to send me home. That dude, he can't send that cowboy back to the boondocks, And I made a comment too, something about, a gastropub. I said, you take your gastropubs and your hip hop music, it's just not my style. Well, I had people ripping me up and down on, go back to your beer drinking honky tonk bar.
Social media.
Yeah, social media. They'll eat you alive if you let them.
They presume to know everything about you just by looking at you.
Yeah, that's okay.
Or you wear a cowboy hat and they presume all these bad things that you do, all the good things you do either way. Doesn't matter.
I'm a gun toting, rebel flag waving, pickup driving, which I am. Redneck that can't speak in polysyllabic sentences, but I shamed the heck out of them.
You know what's funny? I drive a pickup. I wear cowboy hats. I ride horses. I work with bulls, cattle, but I am unbiased, unpolitical, and the most positive guy in the world. But some people think that because you wear a different hat, like if I put a fedora on, they think I'm a different guy. It's really weird.
It is.
It's the hat you wear.
Well, and the funny thing you said about that, if I'm not in boots and jeans, I'm flip flops and shorts, and sometimes shirtless. Not a pretty sight. But I'm the same way. And people ask me about my politics, and I'll be frank with you. I said I lean to a conservative side, but I really ride the middle. I don't agree with everything our president's doing right now, or the president before him and the president before him. I don't agree with all, but what I like is that we put them in office to represent us. We need to get in the middle of the road. We need to get them shaking hands and figure this stuff out and start taking care of us. And let's quit worrying about all the silly, whining,
crazy stuff.
I have other words for it, but quit the finger pointing. Let's get busy to politicking and do what you're there to do. I don't care about
what you're paid to do, right?
Yeah, and you have to. I mean, I spoke something on Twitter about the wall, and it was a comedy for me because I was so tired of hearing from it. I think we need immigration reform badly in this country. I think we need to fix our health care. I think we need to fix our insurance. We need to fix so much in this. And all this prison reform we need to take care of, and we need to get taken care of. But everybody wants me to think I'm riding so far to the right.
Everybody needs to come together. So everybody just needs to work.
Shake your hands. Tip O'Neill used to say, so we used to shake hands and figure this stuff out.
Yeah, that's right. That's all it is too. That's right.
Now we're done talking politics. That's about as much as politics I ever talk. I don't care. I like to talk about food, beer, whiskey, women, horses. Well, not too much women. I talk about my wife. In the good tone. She'll probably speak different about that.
I didn't see her in the studio today.
We ran out of electricity last night. We paid her bill, so she had to get up.
Hang on now. That's a Master Chef moment, because you told me later on, or last week or something, you were bringing food up, which we're going to show later, which is amazing. What'd you bring us?
I brought us some black pepper angel biscuits with a little bit of chicken fried rosemary with a chipotle cream sauce.
Yeah. So you had a Master Chef moment this morning, which is awesome. You're like, there's no electricity. I got like Texas from y'all are starting early in the morning. Well, we're in trouble. We don't have electricity. What people don't understand is like where my ranch is, where your ranch is it's on co-ops or different power sources, and the power goes out all the time. I mean, if the wind blows too hard, it goes out.
Right.
It's crazy. So yours went out.
It went out I think I was up about 4 o'clock in the morning. I heard the fan. I always run the fan at night.
Yeah.
And I heard it stop, and I heard, thunder and lightning.
I run 3.
Yeah, you got to. It's that white noise. And I go, oh, dang, it'll be back on in a few minutes. Well, I just laid there in bed, and I had the earphones. And, you and I talk more at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning than most people ever do. And so I was just doing my stuff, and then I go like, well, I'll doze off for 30 minutes, and then woke up and still wasn't on. I'm starting, well, now it's getting to be go time. It's going to be go time. I've got to get and make some biscuits. And last night I made the dough for the angel biscuits and let them rise all night. But got in showered, lights were off. And
gotta have power. Gotta have that power.
I stepped into a cold shower, and I'm going like, I'm gonna get showered, and the lights came on. So Melanie, my wife, was outside. I said, hey, start the fryer and get the oven going.
Yeah. And so it came on, you did.
Yeah, it was 8 o'clock. I got in the shower out by 8:05, dressed by 8:10, then got to going, and we were rolling out the door at 8:40 this morning.
Here you are. Live in the studio.
Yeah, my wife tries to get out of the kitchen because things fly or words fly. They're not meant, but just get out of my way. I will tell you, when I was on the show, what was more aggravating was when you're cooking, your mind, you got 5 or 6 things going on. They want to interview you while you're cooking.
Right. Yeah, that you've got to you've really got to be able to do 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 things at one time, because they do that. They come over and they'll talk to you right in the middle of everything.
Right. And
I can tell some people can do it real well, and some people it frustrates them a little bit.
Well, I would just keep going, and if I couldn't hear what they'd say, I'd just say, what'd you say? I would just focus. I made sure, and I was talking to them while they're talking, ask me a question. I said, all right, the biscuits are done. Or, like this morning, I had to get the biscuits cut in the oven. I had to get the cream gray going. When I got that going, the fryer had heated up, and I got the pheasant breaded and in there and going, and it just kind of came together. It was one of those like, why didn't I have this moment on the final episode?
Pheasant gonna be some deliciousness when we eat it.
You're absolutely right. And I want to tell you, pheasant's not that expensive, but what I like about it, they don't breed the flavor in like they do chickens now. I'll be honest, I love chicken, but I have to brine my chicken. I flavor my brine too, because I just think they have that antibiotic. It's not antibiotic, but it has that bland taste to them. But pheasant's good, man.
So tell her about what you brought and how you made it, how you prepared it, and what brining means, because some people might not know what that means.
Well, on the pheasant, I didn't brine, but a brining is basically for my brine solution, it's real simple. It's about a quart of water, or half quart of water, or 4 cups of water, and then I take a 1/4 cup of kosher salt and a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. You can just bring it up to a boil until you get that all mixed, and then throw ice in it. And then I take my breast of chicken, or I even do a turkey.
Your breast?
My breast. Do the whole chicken. You do a whole chicken holder, and you stick it in there and let it sit. You can do it overnight. I don't recommend doing it more than 12 hours. I think at that point it starts to break down the meat a little bit.
Right, yeah.
But you just let it, and what it does, it gets that salt in there. It makes I call it like rehydrating the breast. And then when you cook it, or you grill it, or you bake it, whatever, it comes out very moist. And it's a great way. I do my turkeys, and I got one of those old, those old water jugs you see on the side of the utility trucks or at football games.
Yeah.
I've got one of those I got it up in the attic, and I use it every year. I just do a turkey, and then I throw my seasonings into it. And so, that was a simple brine, but you can add bay leaves or pickling mix or whatever you want.
Change the flavor profile dramatically.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's a brining process, and I do that with a lot. I even do it with some pork chops every once in a while. Not, if you got thick, I did the pork chops, so not the same way, and brine just for about an hour. Just gets that moisture in there. Now there's nothing worse than a dry pork chop.
No, I'm telling you, you also brought some salt that you made. What today? That looked that smelled. Is rosemary salt?
It's rosemary salt. I use fresh rosemary. I take it off the stem.
Right. You grow
Yeah.
at the house, at the farm? At the
I
ranch?
do. Well, actually, I had a bunch left over where we did a big function where we were using rosemary skewers. And
Oh,
so,
yeah.
it's, so I peeled the leaves off and I grind it up. It's about a quarter cup of rosemary to 1 cup of kosher salt. And so I put the kosher salt in there and grind it just a little bit. And then I add all that rosemary and I just pulse it in a food processor and just let it go until it gets that nice little grain to it. And I put it up, and it's a great little compliment. I mean, I got truffle salts, I've got wine salt. I mean, I've got a bunch at home, and it kind of got weird. A friend of mine made a smoked salt one time, but I started saying, well, it's a great way to impart a profile. I've not been a big salter in my life.
Yeah.
I just haven't. My wife is.
But I think too much salt kills the rest of the flavor and everything. And then what's funny is that if a chef smokes a lot
Mm-hmm.
or drinks a lot, it changes the salt profile in their foods. They tend to salt heavy.
Right.
And that's why, a Holster friend of mine, he said I had to quit smoking because I was just salting things too much. I mean, just because they can't taste it.
My wife is very, very good. She has great taste profiles. I mean, she can really tell you, you're missing this. And Johnny Aguilar, my sous chef, he, incredible young man, he can figure it out too. So I always ask, even though I do it, I always ask for that backup. But what's really good about doing these salts like this is it just adds a little bit of flavor. Like when you do a steak,
Right.
when I do a steak, I do black pepper and salt and I pan sear it or I grill it. But when it comes off, I always add a little bit of lemon. And then right before it goes out, I add a little bit of salt, whether it's a truffle salt or that rosemary. Well, when I'm doing a pan seared, a lot of times I'll use it with rosemary or sage. And then as I'm basting it, imparts that garlic and that. But this is a great way to finish it right before it goes out.
You use cast iron?
I use cast iron.
It's just best, isn't it?
It is.
It's
And
the
people
best.
laugh about it. You go to my kitchen,
I
I
don't care.
got a bar. I mean, literally a galvanized bar plumbing, that I've got all
Yeah.
the heads, and I hang all my cast iron on that. So I'll tell you a little secret. If you want to acquire a lot of cast iron, I'll go to two places. Go to pawn shops or go to estate sale shops to where they come in, the little junk shops, and you can get some. I picked up some old Warner pieces and some old, I can't remember the other name, but Lodge and all that. But you
Yeah.
can pick them up. But if you want a good, you can go to the big box stores and you can buy a good cast iron, Lodge cast iron, which I use mostly Lodge. You can get it for $20.
You know who's selling Lodge now? Who
Who?
just started selling Lodge? Got a huge display. Buc-ee's.
Really?
They got a huge display of Lodge. All the Lodge stuff. They have Lodge handles, Lodge aprons. It's phenomenal. Jan and I saw it last week. The first time we seen it. It's a beautiful. It's just a gorgeous display. I mean, you imagine Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
Everything's big.
Oh God, it is. I'll tell
That's
you
the
what.
biggest damn store I've ever seen.
I know that's the only place I know that I can go eat and get a workout before I get back to my truck.
And sometimes I don't have to stop, but damn it, I want to stop.
Well, they got the best fuel prices. When you carry
Yeah.
much fuel in my truck, I carry 44 gallons. So when it saves you 20 cents, 30 cents, I'll stop by just to top it off.
Hey, I asked Janet what pump we're on. She said, I don't know. Let me look. She yelled out like pump number 122, like 100 pumps out there.
It's amazing what he's done.
Oh, my God.
It's great. But these salts are a great way of thinking, and you can make it at home. If you got sage, you can do sage, mint, basil, mixed herbs. And, if you're doing a chicken, what a great way to get a mixed herb salt. And for me, I'll make it in a big old quart, and then I distribute out my kids, my friends. Here, take some. And
How do you get the salt? You have to bake the salt.
No.
What do? You just
I just put in the Cuisinart 1 cup to 1/4 cup of fresh herbs, and I grind it
pulse
up.
it.
Yeah, pulse it and pulse it and pulse it when it gets to that. Where you look where the rosemary looks about the same size as the salt, I just put in I use ball jars.
Oh yeah,
Cannon jars.
Sure, yeah.
So you got the thing you
the
can
old
open
canning
up.
jars. I love those though.
And and I'll even save the old lids. Once you use a can, once you can some, you uncan. I'll still save the lid and the top on, throw it in a drawer. And then, for instance, like this, where it's not going to be preservation again, or I shouldn't say preservation. It's not going to be for canning.
Right.
I'll just save those and put them on there and send them home. Get those little jars. You can get the small fruit jars, the big fruit jars. And what a great gift this year for Christmas for all my friends, both of them. I'm going to do a little jar with them, like salts and seasonings and
Yeah.
picantes and all that, that I make, and barbecues.
So I watch a lot of food shows. I don't TiVo them all, and I just skip them and I listen to them. But I saw one where they were taking seawater out of the ocean and making sea salt, but then smoking it with different flavors, different woods, cherry woods. It was a neat deal, man. How they laid them out and then dried out, and then they put them in the smoker with cherry woods or pecan or whatever it was, and how it changed the flavor of that salt. It's amazing how salt melts in that food and it just has a different flavor profile.
Well, one of my mentors, and all three of my mentors were women that cooked, was Tootie Frank, and Tootie sent me home some smoked salt, and I go, what am I going to use this on? But what a great way! If you don't want to smoke something, you can't. It's hard to smoke cheese,
right?
But you make like I do a Texas version of a Philly cheesesteak,
right?
But then you add a little bit of that smoked salt to the top of it, and it's amazing what you'll get out of it. So I'm a big believer that you salt as you go, or you pepper as you season as you go. I start off, then I add more and I add more, and I do it all the whole time process of cooking. You know, I do it, and I'm notorious about it, but I'm very easy on the salt, and it's the final where I get my salt.
Grady Spears always tells him, man, salt and butter, baby.
Yeah.
Salt and butter. I'll never forget this. I was doing a TV show, and it was Grady. We were doing a long TV show about Horseshoe Hill and his dishes and stuff. And we just finished wrapping up, and it was getting busy out there for lunch. And he had his back to, like you or me. And I saw the kitchen door open because I was facing out and he was facing to me. And the guy walked by with 3 chicken fried steaks in his hand, and then that arm right there went out, and Grady stopped him, and he said, "Hey, come here. I want to tell you something." And the guy turned around, the chicken fried steaks. There's no salt on those. You need to put salt on them. And I'm like, how in the hell? He was talking to me. How did he even see it? But he said, man, it's one thing I look for in all my chicken fried steaks and my mashed potatoes is salt. It's got to be on there where they leave. And I guess they sprinkle salt, over the top of everything.
Right.
So,
salt is, now I don't use iodized salt. I mean, the only thing I use that my bug of salt going to take out the flies.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a big kosher salt guy, and I actually, if you have a kosher salt, it doesn't impart that iodine. You get. So I use a lot of kosher salt, and I find it to be more of a mellow, more of a pleasing. I mean, because you can take a table salt, iodized salt, and you can ruin the dish real quick. Yeah. So I always try to explain to people, like, especially when my cookbooks coming out, is using kosher salt. And I'll be honest, I mean, one of the first people really introduced me to using kosher salt was Grady. Was one of them. I had always used it. I mean, always had it around, but I didn't know what to use. I thought I used it to salt the front sidewalk if you ever got ice. Or
Chef Grady's. I mean, he has been around, influenced a lot of people, hadn't he?
He has. I actually met him when I was working in the club business down in Houston. He was actually working at a vegetarian restaurant.
That's right. Yeah.
He goes, I'm going to Marathon. So I'm going to Phoenix, Arizona. I'll see you later, part. I think he did a little better than I did. Yeah. He's doing okay. We all have our fun parts in life, but I've always respected Grady a whole lot.
Oh yeah. We did my best breakfast special for ABC, and he has a new cowboy breakfast out there, and it was chicken fried steak, eggs, some of his biscuit gravy, and cheddar buttermilk biscuits.
That's almost what I did here. My black pepper. And once you get a good biscuit recipe, I'm not joking. I joke about one of my shirts here. You'll see it says, good fences make good neighbors. Yeah. Good biscuits mend broken fences.
That's right there.
And that's just something that's so true. I don't care what people say. I've been broke in my life. I mean, down to where I didn't have anything. But the best thing I always remember, good meals. Thanksgivings to Christmas, or just catching. When I used to run a ranch up there by y'all's, up there north of Detroit, we had a 17-acre freshwater pond out. That's the tank, out there. And I used to pluck the fish right out of there, and then I'd go to flay them and have them that night. And people go like, "Man, it's so much different." I go, "It is,
A lot different.
I had 3 guys up there, pretty well-to-do men. One was Mr. Deadman. You remember the old Deadman Hospital? Yeah. That hospital was born to fail when you name it Deadman. But he goes, "Man, this is the best recipe I've ever had." So, I've always liked fresh foods and stuff like that. And I've always talked about I don't look forward to Christmas. I look forward to the meal. Yeah. Because I got whatever. I mean, I got enough, stuff. My kids, still get a lot of stuff, but I love the meal. And it doesn't have, some of the best Christmas meals I had were real simple. We did a prime rib, smoked prime rib. So I had to do it the day before. And then we made mashed potatoes and like 3 other sides and did it all in like a Master Chef moment, about an hour. You sat down and ate. It's not like Thanksgiving where it's 12 hours of cooking for 15 minutes of eating.
Do you find yourself to be on that show and being? Let me back up a little bit. People, they make the Master Chef look with any Master Chef, with any chef show on TV, with anything that's cut and filmed at different times of the day, spliced, edited. They make it seem so simple and so easy, and all that, everything going up to that, production, the time you got to work, the hours you're up, is just so it's mind boggling. People just don't understand that.
Yeah, and most people, that's one of the biggest questions. 2 biggest questions. I go, what was Gordon like? He's really a jerk, and I know he's not.
No, he's not.
He's an incredible person.
Yes,
he really is. Very genuine, the guy.
Yeah.
You want to yell at him, just get in a yelling contest. Yeah. He's just being himself. Yeah, that's right. Stomp on my toes, see what happens. Say yours too. Yeah. But that question, and the other was, when you're cooking, if it's 45 minutes, it's 45 minutes of straight cooking. There's no cutting. There's no stuff.
No.
You walk out those doors and you get that basket, you get to going.
There's no restarting the clock. There's no splicing. There's no stopping.
Cut. Let's redo. Makeup. There's nothing like that. When you're sweating, and that, the funny thing you talk about, that I was on the beach cooking. It was in August. And they had me in a black felt, one of my black felts, and they had me in boots and jeans. Made us walk up and down that beach the third time. Third time I told them, said, "We're done." I'm walking in boots and sand, and I'm going, all right, we're done with this crap. But I was cooking outside over a grill, first prepping fish, and I was over a grill cooking fish, and then prepping plates. I literally take that hat off, and I could shake the sweat out of it. And
I know that's.
And what's crazy is the production on that. When you're out there, if the support staff, you don't see them there. I had a guy chunking me, when the camera wasn't around, he was chunking me iced like cloths, and I put in the top of that hat.
Right.
And I kind of joked about, I finally had to take the hat back over to JW's. JW Brooks, best friend, he builds these hats, and he took it over there and he goes, man, this thing is awful. And it's 2 years after wearing it because it had sweat and stuff in it. And it was just awful. So he's actually rebuilding it right now. But he goes, man, that thing is nasty. But
that's what happens.
Yeah, you're just sitting there sweating. But, it's a crazy thing. And, like, you're all nervous. I can remember when you're playing football or, getting a rope and pin, you're getting ready. You get those old knots in your stomach, and that was the way before those doors open. Yeah. It wasn't until that steak chow.
Yeah, and when you say doors, that's the doors on the stage of MasterChef. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And, it's pretty crazy because you have Gordon breathing down you and you got other people there, and everybody wants the one thing. They want to ring the bell.
Yeah,
they want that brat.
That's right.
So you get a lot of politics going on there, and I don't mean, government politics.
Yeah.
I mean people trying to, demise you a little bit.
Right.
And you build a strong sense of relationship.
It's mental, too. It's mental. It's a huge mental challenge.
Yeah, and I would get in a couple guys' heads just for fun, banter back and forth. And some of them really could handle well, one couldn't. I had to deviate from him.
Yeah.
The guy that won the show was a vegetarian, Dino, and
oh, that's funny.
yeah, Dino's. I think he's I don't know I think he's vegan. He may be vegetarian or vegan. Who knows? Who cares?
Yeah.
The way I look at it.
Yeah.
I joke about that. He used to go, I can make that mushroom taste just like a steak. I go, let me tell you, I'll make that steak taste just like a steak. Who wants to taste it? I don't want a steak that tastes like mushroom.
They say vegans like vegetables so much and don't like meat. Why they try to make everything taste like meat?
That's exactly
or bacon.
Yeah.
I've seen not bacon,
Mm-hmm.
not meat.
Right.
On the shelf, and I've seen where they take. I guess they take tofu and smoke it to make like
Right.
smoked bacon or whatever, turkey or whatever. It's like not turkey.
Right. I mean, I like mushrooms. I like vegetables. I tell you what, but people say, well, how can you eat beef? I go, well, it's fine. I eat my own beef. My cows are vegans.
Yeah, that's right.
My cows, my pigs, all of them are vegans, man.
They're all vegans.
Actually, my son-in-law feeds my pig meat every once in a while just to antagonize me. But that's okay. That's a story within itself.
That's a story. That's funny.
And that's the beauty of, really being on that show was it taught me a lot more. It expanded my horizons. Came back wanting to cook different things. I never really was into Indian food. Of course, I grew up in Texas. We didn't have it. We grew up in Irving. I don't think I was in high school before we even got our first Chinese restaurant, and I had Chinese food. And so, I think, growing up in that environment, I grew up in a beef and potato family. Cattle family.
So tell me, you got through MasterChef, and you do a lot of charity functions now. Tell me how those functions work. Tell me what you do to raise that money. How you do
Well,
that?
we put out dinners. We offer dinners, a dinner for like 10 people in your house. This year, we're bringing everybody to the ranch. And we invite for a 5-course dinner. Sit down, we prepare it for you, and you get to do it in your house for it. And so we raise pretty good money. We've raised a lot of money for them.
Yeah, you've raised $800,000.
Over 800,000.
Yeah.
And my goal is to get to $1 million. I think when I get to $1 million, I'll shave the beard off or something. It's been an incredible experience. Right before I went on the show, I had a stroke, and how do I say it? I had a second chance.
Yeah.
And when you get second chance, and let me tell you, my halo's not going to blind anybody. I was that kid that your mama told you not to hang out with, and daddies didn't like. So, and so,
hey, we all have those moments, though.
we did. You have to mess up. If you don't fall and stumble, you're not living. And that's what
I didn't stumble. I was like one of those Rolling Stones.
as a tumbleweed.
Go ahead.
But, I had this second chance, and I looked at my wife. My wife said, as am I, a devout Christian, and she said, what are you going to do with this after you get off? I said, I want to get back. And my goal, I had a great guy helping me from the get-go to kind of get things rolling, and he had his own stuff. He couldn't stay around Jeff Tucker, and he helped me a lot, but we got these going to where we could start raising money. My goal was to get to $100,000, and we got to $100,000 pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And then it just started, like you said, a Rolling Stone. It just kept going. Yeah. And I'll be honest, I never really understood the celebrity thing. And I'm not a celebrity, but where they get tired and they check out. And it's gotten to a little point I've had to check out my body. I fight a disease, and that disease takes a toll on your body every once in a while. Yeah. So I have to break down. So we've changed up a little bit. I practice the Sabbath. I don't do anything on Sundays, or I don't do anything work-wise.
Right.
I may fix a fence, but I just try to relax, and that's been. But I tell you, this has been a great thing. I've met so many great people and so many good organizations. And it's been fun to go in people's houses cook, and it's different. And people don't understand. It's a lot harder to go cook for them in their house than it would be in a restaurant.
Oh, it's a lot harder.
Yeah, and we've had so many fun things with different people and doing different things, but I will tell you that everybody wants a steak. I can do fish. I can do pastas. I can do great chicken. I can do pheasant. Everybody goes, well, what would you like for your main protein? They go, we'll have steak. I go, well, I also do fish stuff. They go, that's okay. We'll do steak. So we do a lot of steak. I mean, I kind of joke. I did pan-seared steaks last Sunday. My daughter and son-in-law were over.
That's cast iron pan-seared.
Cast iron. We did that? We did that Saturday. That's when we made the carne adobado enchiladas.
Right. Carne adobado. Oh, that sounds good.
And so we did it that night, and I had about 2 bites, and I looked at my son-in-law. I just said, "Man, I'm about done with steak."
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Not though. Just
just that moment. And when I do cook, I really cook with eat with my eyes. By the time food's prepped, I don't eat a whole lot, but because you're tasting.
Right.
So yeah, it's been how we got off the thing about organizations and that. I've been a blessed man for it.
Now you're doing something now for the high school, right?
Yeah.
What are you doing now?
It's the Texas High School Barbecue Championship.
Okay.
It's a group of a gentleman got it started down in Burnett, Texas.
Right. Yeah.
Burnett. That's right. He got it started and did a great job. He started getting this high school barbecue association going on, where they're helping kids that maybe they're not football or baseball or sport talent or band talent, but they have a passion for cooking. And these culinary programs are really good in these high schools.
They are.
And he started this.
I think those culinary programs are essential. I think they need it because sometimes they don't get it home anymore.
Well, you don't have home ec girls don't sew
like
anymore.
Yeah,
no, that's how I got an easy A so I could play football. It wasn't that easy because that teacher didn't like me too much. But it gets a kid, and I've always had a passion for cooking, but they didn't have an outlet for it. So you got these kids that maybe, and they could be athletes, they could be band members and all that, but they just have this passion for barbecue. So he started doing these small things and getting these little championships growing, and now they're all over the state of Texas. If you look it up. The high school barbecue, it's highschoolbarbecuechamp.org, but we'll get it by the end of the show. Okay. But these kids compete and they go around. And so I went to one down in Burnett, the first one I went to, and we had high school here in not Trimble Tech, but nothing like a senior moment. But they have them all over, and they got in and they started cooking. You got a little high school in Godley that has one. You've got
how many do they have?
They have about 10 a year, and then they have the championship. They're going to have the championship down in Burnett this year. But they go from Conroe. They go to Bell County, the Bell County Convention Center.
Right, and the kids do it all.
Yeah, the kids do it all. They got one. They got some adults there to watch the supervision. They take them just like a regular barbecue competition. And let me tell you, these kids are talented. They also do a competition for the kids that are like in the welding classes to build barbecues and smokers and stuff. And you ought to see these. And these FFA programs are getting them, these kids in FFA and 4-H, it's a great little outlet for them, And nothing like, hey, if you live out in, for example, if you live out in Muleshoe, it's nothing like going to Fort Worth for a little show.
No, I know.
There's a trip there. There's some time you get to spend,
That's right.
And some of these kids, it's really, one kid told me it's the first time he had ever really left Muleshoe.
Isn't that crazy?
It wasn't Muleshoe that he lived in, but I can't remember. He goes, yeah, it's the first time I've ever been.
We had two of our best restaurants. We had a Church's Fried Chicken and a Dairy Queen in Muleshoe, and they were both incredible restaurants for us. Years. As a matter of fact, I think we still own one of the buildings out there.
Wow. Yeah. Well, and I used, Paris, Texas. When I was a kid, there wasn't much there, and they finally got a couple of restaurants in. I mean, you went to Western Sizzling, or you went to Tamales.
Western Sizzling with the big cow.
Yeah.
They used to put them on the roof, then they moved them down.
Yeah, I think they got tired of cow tipping. And you remember the old Bonanza too, but you didn't have it. Now you're going to these little towns, and you've seen. For me, we watched all the commercial places. I'm going to use this one for example, and I don't know, but Chili's is not in Mineral Wells anymore. And when my wife worked at the original Chili's, and I worked at them too when you first started. It was burgers, fries, and they added tacos to it, and you could get a salad.
Right.
It was really good. Then it got bought up in corporate, and it's just not the same as it was. And you're starting to see now these small towns, or even big towns, you're getting these great little restaurants. I mean, one of our favorite, I'm going to plug them right now, and Terry's going to love us for it, but Fred's.
Oh, yeah, I love Fred's. They make all my list every year.
Yeah.
Every one of them.
And you know what? To go there, I mean, I went there when the outside still had decomposed granite out there. You watched the band.
I know.
Tell you a funny story. I got stuck in there one night and watching a concert. The guy sitting in front of me had the old plumber's issue going on, and he had a girl's thong on. I lost my flavor for that concert place for a while.
No, he didn't. Did he?
I took a picture. I got a picture. I'll show it to you later.
He had a girl's thong on.
Yeah, it was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Was it a big burly guy?
Yeah, oh, he's a pretty good sized fella. He was a chicken fried steak eating fella, you know what I mean? I go like, oh, I don't know what's going on here, but I was with a good friend. I looked at it and he looked at it and I go, we parted the Red Sea. We just moved.
Oh, that's just funny. It's just something you just wouldn't see. It's kind of funny.
And you think about it, and if we didn't have this, I had a restaurant pick out to bring us breakfast tacos more if I couldn't get them. No, it was another place. It was I call it Dos Hermanos over there in the White Settlement.
Oh, yes. I've been there. It's good.
Yeah. So I was just going to bring some. But, you're seeing people now go back to these smaller restaurants. One of my favorite restaurants in Fort Worth, it's just right over the street here, just a few blocks away, is Enchilada Olay's.
Oh, yeah. It's good.
She does a great job over there.
Yes, she does.
And you're starting to see this now in smaller towns. You're seeing the cafes are starting to come back. You're starting to see it.
Eat local, buy local.
Well,
I'm gonna ask you something. What's your most defining moment as a chef? Like, what is the thing that may have struck your heart the most, or that you've endured the most, that you like the most?
Wow, that's a good question.
Isn't it? That's what I'm here for.
I think, aside from being on MasterChef and doing the certain things, I think that coming back and I cooked at State Fair and did a steak.
Yeah.
And you have to give samples out. I think I had this lady, she was probably in her late 70s, who just rolled up on me when I was serving. She was, it's the best effing steak I ever had. Something about an 80-year-old pulling that bomb out of it. And so many times I had to try to get my mom to. My mom's 90 years old, but I can't get her to do it. But
that's funny. That's really funny.
And she said it was, and I think that was pretty cool. And then
that means she meant it. What she was saying.
Yeah,
she was not playing around.
No, she wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to look, and I almost had to ask her, "What did you just say?" But I'll take it for what it is.
Yeah.
I think that's been a great thing, and I never really thought myself as a chef. I've always said I'm just a home cook, and I think when people come up and say, "You really don't know the talent that you have," and then I go, "Well, I don't." These guys that go to school, I mean, to go to CIA or, heck, one of the best programs in Tarrant County is at the area food bank here. They have a great,
that's right.
Chef Manny does a heck of a program. You go and you watch it and you see these people, what they have
I'm heavily
to do.
involved in that program. So you go down there too. And I love doing stuff for the food bank. People don't understand though. And when I tell people the culinary program, food bank, they go, what? Where? I said, a food bank. For some reason, people picture a food bank as being run down, ratty building somewhere,
right,
with stuff crawling in it, and have no idea what goes on. That building,
that kitchen is awesome.
The whole building's incredible.
Yeah,
the whole
both sides.
The whole organization is incredible, and it's just through donations and people working and giving their time, like you, me, and everybody else that volunteer down there. Plug for the food bank. If you need something to do, go call a food bank in your area, because they're all pretty much the same way now.
Yeah, anywhere. We have one in Lipan, and the lady that runs in Lipan, if people come from Granbury, she goes, I'm not going to stop people from getting food. They go, well, they're double dipping. I go, if they need to feed their family, who cares?
They're not taking it and selling it. They're using it for a reason.
Yeah, they are. They're not collecting it unless they're hoarders, and I hope they're not doing that. But like John Aguilar, my sous chef, he came from that program. We met at a quinceanera. Angel Moda and I he invited me to his daughter's quinceanera, and so I went out there. And Johnny's stepfather is Latin Express.
Yeah.
And so he goes, hey, I want to cook for you. I go, yeah, cook with you. I go, yeah, I hear it a lot. And I'm not brushing people off.
Sure,
I mean, if I did, I would have a line of people, because we have fun when we cook. I mean, there's a point that we used to have a little brown liquor, and we had to slow that down for a while.
Wait, you slowed the brown liquor down, didn't you?
Had to get the meal out on time. But Johnny came from that program. Johnny came from a program. He's got a cousin that I think his brother went through it. And I mean, they're producing great chefs out of that thing.
Yeah.
And, and that's what's really cool about it. You're taking these local guys, and to go to CIA, Johnson Wells, like Gabe Lewis, who I cooked with up from the show, he's at Johnson Wells. And that's one of those moments you talk about Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay's paying for him to go to Johnson Wells.
That's a neat deal.
But, these kids are going there. Some of these kids can't afford that. But you get just as good a training. And, the real training on this is there's three things I talk about. Training in a program or understanding how to cook. When I was a kid growing up, you took home ec, you got a library card, or you hung out with your aunts and uncles, or aunts and mothers and grandparents.
You got slapped around when you did something wrong.
Right. And then you went and worked in a small restaurant and learned that way.
Right.
Or you went and got a library card and cooked. Now, there's so much in the television, internet, and all that that you can do with it. It's
you YouTube anything now and learn how to do it.
And I think that's wonderful. And for these kids, going back to this high school barbecue program, they're setting themselves. They're going to be at the World Food Championship out here.
That's awesome.
And you know what? And you got to go out and support these kids. I mean, we're building $60 million high school stadiums, and it's hard to get these small independent school districts. And I'm going to call out these school districts right now. If you can't afford to send a high school team with a $2,000 smoker, or one that they build, and put them up overnight 10 times out of the year so they can have a little culinary program, to get rid of your football programs, get rid of your other programs, get rid of it all, because these kids deserve it just as much as those star athletes.
I agree. It's good for them, too. It teaches them a lot.
Teaches them a lot about patience and discipline.
Plus, it makes them feel good. It gives them some dignity, gives them some self-confidence and some self-worth.
You'll do it the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I wasn't good enough football play past high school, and college goes. They hit a lot harder up there.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
But here's something a kid can do. It's like the golf. I mean, you can play it pretty much the rest of your life. So let these kids spend the money in your school district for these kids. Trimble Tech puts out one. The other.
Trimble Tech's got a beautiful kitchen up there.
Yeah, and they have these culinary programs. Granbury, I've worked a lot with Brian Langdon over there, and she. These kids are coming out going, I'm taking the welding class. I'm doing this. I'm going to weld and I'm going to work in a restaurant. So, hey, listen, I went to college one semester. I looked at my dad and said, Dad, this ain't for me. And let's save your money and quit wasting my time.
I'm not going to tell you I said to my professor. That's not appropriate. Yeah, it just wasn't for me either. I was too ADD.
Me too.
I still am, but now I know how to hone it and harness it and put it in the right direction.
Is that called brown liquor?
Yeah, no.
No, I'm the same way. And my dad was very, very thankful that I did that. And I'm a sharp kid. I mean, I was a smart kid. I mean, but I want to go live.
Yeah.
My oldest brother was there to go to college. My middle brother was there to go to college, and I was the one to go play. And my dad said, because I moved out at a very young age, and my dad said, "You're on your own. Figure it out. If you go to school, I'll help you out." And then, he said, "Hey, go have fun. Go do what you want." And there's a point, I think, in his late 70s, he just retired, started riding bicycles. And
bicycles.
He did. He did the hotter than hell till he was 80 years old.
Did he really?
Oh yeah. I just got his bike. I'm redoing. I'm going to do in the MS 150. And he said, "Man, I envied you." He goes, "You did things." Because my dad, my parents and your parents were of that generation. They got married early, went and worked for a company. My dad worked for the same company all his life. Texas Instruments, and grew from the bottom up. And when he retired, they gave him a gold
pin or something.
They gave him a gold cross pin or something. Thank you. Next. And he said it was so envious of you to go live your life like that. And I tried to tell that to kids. Go chase your dreams. Don't only chase them, catch the son of a guns and conquer them and win them and do them and then find another one and go live.
My dad, and I talk about this every show. And if you watch any of my shows, people don't sit in that chair unless they have passion to talk to me. I don't value less than you, and you're incredibly passionate about everything you do. And I tell everybody, do what you want to do, but be passionate about what you do. Mm-hmm. And if you're not passionate about it and you don't like what you do, then you shouldn't be doing it. You can do anything you want. I don't care if you're going to sweep a street or whatever you're going to do. Just do whatever you, but be passionate about it. Be good at it.
Well, my dad said it's on the back of this shirt. Do what you love what you do, and deliver more than you promise.
That's right.
And that's the way he was. He did. When we went out and mowed a yard, we all mowed a yard. We went and worked cattle, or we went and did it together. We were hunting and fishing. We did it together, and we all did it with passion. We all had our chores to do. I was raised with a chore list, and you knew it. There wasn't, hey, what am I supposed to do today? You knew what you had to do.
Oh yeah.
And if we mowed the house, we're at the ranch, we're on the farm, or we're at the lake lot. You peeled out of a Winnebago, and I had to clip around the trees. My brother had the edge. My dad ran the lawnmower. And my brother swept.
Yeah.
And you all did it. You got it finished. We cleaned the downstairs of the house. We did the upstairs on Thursday, cleaned the downstairs on Friday. Dad would bring a couple of pizzas home. We'd turn on Tom Jones and be in bed by 9 o'clock. And Saturday morning, we'd get up and mow the yard. And at noon, you're like, all right, I don't want to see y'all. And
teamwork, just like in the kitchen. You got to have teamwork.
It is. And, and that's the greatest.
Got to have teamwork.
My kids, and they probably beat me if here, but I did a little book called,
Oh, you got a book coming out.
I do have my good book.
Oh, hang on. Let's talk about that. I get talking with you, shooting the shit. So tell me about the book.
Well, we're doing some of my favorite recipes.
Right. What's the name of the book?
Newton. Newton, the cowboy.
That's
chef.
Original.
Yeah,
Took some thought, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's going to have Newton. It's going to be the so-called cowboy chef cooking your favorite meals.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that's what I'm going to do. And I always say I've created a few of my own recipes, but most recipes are borrowed from other people, taken, borrowed, changed, and looked around, and put their own twist on some of my favorites. But really, I'm going to do food that you can sit down and enjoy. I'm not complicated. The most complicated thing to one is going to be my chili recipe. And that's a one that includes tequila and beer. Yeah.
Okay, wait. Tell me about because I got some guys coming on next week that I love. They have an elk chili that they do. I love. It's the two chefs from over that do they're in the Omni now in Fort Worth. They do 3 restaurants over there. But what? Tell me what's in your chili that makes it so good.
Well, if I can get venison, I put venison in mine, but I also do beef. But I actually take chunks of good beef, and I cut them up and I chop them up, and then I grind a little bit so it has a little bit of a dual texture. I don't like that Cincinnati chili or that really fine grind that people call chili. I like chunks in it. I want it chunky. I make my own red chili sauce, which is a process within itself. Onions, jalapenos, poblanos, 5 different chilies I get from Pendry's here.
Okay.
And I don't use someone's mix. I mean, Grady's got his mix over, and a lot of guys who win the Terlingo, but I get the chili arbol, guajillo, jalapeno, chipotle. I also use a little bit of cayenne in it, and mixed peppers. And I use Corona La Familia beer. And I use good tequila. I mean,
can you use what kind of beer is it?
The Corona La Familia. If you go to the Mexican bodegas or Hispanic bodegas, whatever you want to say. I'm getting in trouble for that PC comment. They had the big brown bottles, of Corona in there.
There's this word you can't say nowadays. You didn't mean anything bad by it; just happened.
No, you call you call Angel Moto a Honduran and see what happens to you.
yeah.
They're proud they're from Mexico, and I'm proud they're from Mexico. And I joke about it. People say, "Well, they're illegal aliens." I go, "Well, let's find a way to get them legal because I tell you what, if they're not here, we have a large problem in our economy." Yeah. But yeah, you step on their toes. If you call a Mexican fella a Honduran, it may cause a fist fight.
So it's a beer?
Yeah, it's a big old beer you get at the market. The big brown bottle.
Does it have a lot of flavor? Is that why you use it?
It just has a different flavor. I don't think, and you could probably use regular Corona. You could use Tecate, Cata Blanca, whatever I just use a Mexican beer. And then I use good tequila. Dos Amigos. I mean, I could go on all day, Patron, which I think is a little generalized, Casamigos, but Azul, but I use a good tequila, and they're just a little bit for flavor, and then I just salt and taste. It's a slow process. And when I make a pot, well, as big as both our hats put together. Yeah. I mean, when you make chili, you
can't make a little pot of chili. What's good is that?
No, and friends come over and
everybody wants some.
You make chili, huevos rancheros con chili.
Oh, I love huevos rancheros.
And so I think that's probably gonna be the most complicated one in there. But we're just doing stuff. I do for my vegan friends now. No, vegetarian. Yeah. I do a lasagna that's basically made with squash and green zucchini, and then we do it with a mixed cheese, and I do it with a spicy poblano, basically just smoked tomato sauce. And that'll be in there. And that's a great meal just as a little side. I'm going to do my green chili potatoes gallant, which is basically scalloped potatoes with green chilies. My beans, I am a simple bean guy, but it's the simple bean. People try to put all this stuff in beans. And, it's mine salt, pepper. I'll tell you right now, salt, pepper, bacon, and jalapenos, a little bit of garlic, and chicken stock. And I don't put beer in. I'm not a big beer fan in them, but if you want to add beer to it, we can do that. But I don't put. Again, I serve those two together because I don't put beans in my chili, and I don't put chili in my beans.
Yeah,
and so they're separate and served. I like to do a nice big old green chili cornbread to go with that. And in wintertime, like a day like today when it's cold and rainy and it's outside. Today's that day you take that piece of cornbread, open it up, put the beans and chilies with it. That's a meal with it. As I call it, if you're working on a ranch, it's called a gut anchor.
Yeah, that's right.
Try to swing that leg over the back end of a horse after eating that.
That's right.
It's a gut anchor.
Hey, so how big's the cookbook going to be? How many recipes y'all have it down to?
Well, we haven't. We're still finishing them up, but we're going to have over 100. We're going to do my creme brulee. I'm going to do my creme brulee. Oh. I'm going to do my bacon raspberry.
Creme brulee.
Listen to this one.
That just sounds sexy.
I'm doing with a candied bacon and raspberry in it.
Candy bacon raspberry. A creme brulee with candy bacon and raspberry.
That's right, baby. Had that all day. I'm going to do my bread pudding with the TX whiskey sauce.
TX whiskey, that's always sexy. Yeah. I drink a whole bottle of that. You know that? I drink a whole bottle, not really even be drunk.
TX, I've seen you do it in one sitting.
Yeah. But I'm not really even. It's just such good stuff.
It's that caramel. Do you taste the caramel in it? The flavor profile?
Good Lord.
I can't drink like that, but I tell you, it's funny you say that. But I think one of the greatest desserts I do, and most people haven't seen it, it's a cheesecake, and it's a peanut butter chocolate cheesecake, and it starts off with a Oreo cake bottom, crushed Oreos. Then I have a peanut butter and chocolate swirled in the cheesecake.
Keep going.
Then it's topped with a chocolate ganache, basically melted chocolate, a little bit of cream. And then the final coup d'etat, I top with a little bit of peanuts, and then I use Reese's cups, cut in half in pieces, and then I top it off with that.
Reese's peanut butter cups.
Oh, yeah, baby.
That's delicious, isn't it?
I just gained 2 pounds talking about it.
I know you did. Can you reach your biscuits?
I sure can.
We're gonna look at these biscuits here. Can we see that? Can we see the overhead camera there, Ron?
Don't drop this thing, Michael.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Look at that.
Get a plate and fork.
Yeah, we got 2 plates right there.
Here you go, my friend.
Now I'm gonna push these up a little bit here,
Okay.
so everybody can see them. Right there. Look at that. And then what's in the gravy? Talk to the microphone there.
Well, my gravy is going to be, it starts off with a simple butter roux with a little butter, flour, salt, pepper. And I usually put a little rosemary salt. But today we add a little bit of chipotle peppers in that. And then these biscuits are an angel biscuit, but I did with black pepper. And I do use a little bit of the rosemary salt because I think that rosemary goes nice with wild game. Then we fried those pheasant breast. The angel biscuits I started last night, the dough, and then we finished them off this morning. And then
I want to dip into some of this gravy.
you got a big old chunk of chipotle there too.
I do. I love it. I gotta try this. Here you
That's
go.
it.
This is gonna be good.
I won't. Oh yeah.
What do you?
I won't grab this one close to me.
Okay,
That's right. I like these are a little bit better when they come out of the oven, but we'll suffer through.
Let's use that. Yeah.
You got a bib?
We're gonna need that right
You
there.
give Chinaman 2 sticks and you
Gotcha.
eat it. He's
Thank you.
right. You give me a shovel, I'll still get it all over me.
Thank you, Ron.
Do you say something? Oh.
I don't know about hearing me chew 'em, but God, that's good.
And well, you know, I like biscuits and gravy. I just can't eat them like I used to. And man, I had to have a half one on the way over here.
Man, this is good. So, real quick, do you find the do you remember the website for the
World Food Champions. Just look up World Food Champions.
Yeah.
Walmart has it on
got
there.
that
World Food and the high school.
high school? Let's look at it. That's what I was wondering about. World Food Championships. You Google World Food Championships or just worldfoodchampionships.com.
Look up the highschoolbarbecue.com. High school barbecue. Excuse me. High school spelled out bbq.org.
Okay.
And
.org.
.org. And look up theirs and support them. If they're in your local area, go down and support the people. Give those kids a good.
Probably just Google it.
Oh, did I? Oh, I took your fork. Sorry.
That's all right. You can probably just Google it.
Google it, and they have their calendar and their season that their events are coming out, and they'll be going. And like I said, they're gonna have the food championship. Go support these kids. You know, like these are our future.
Also, tell them about your website, Newton.
We got cowboychefnewton.com. That's cowboychefnewton.com. You can reach out to me at Newton@cowboychef.com. Look at it. I've been a little slow on the blogs lately and getting some recipes out there, but I think I think Melanie just put the pork chop on there that I did. I just did a pan.
You were looking around for her, weren't you?
Yeah, I did.
That's what I do too. All right. If you're looking for us, it's I'm sure you probably know this, but if you're listening and you haven't, it's your first time to listen, it's Trey'sChowdown.com. And of course, that's just like the Trey's Chowdown Live. It's Trey with an E. I tell everybody, all the cool kids.
Sorry about that.
I tell everybody, all the cool kids or all the cool Treys are spelled with an E, not the A. Or of course, you can just Google us. We have a lot of stuff going on. Our website is absolutely phenomenal. We have all the events, all the TV segments, all our videos. We have a restaurant guide, a barbecue guide, a chef's guide. I got to get you on that chef's guide, by the way.
You do.
I got to get you on the chef. I need a picture for that. And it's all right there. It's one of the largest food and drink websites in Texas, and it's updated daily. It's just crazy how much stuff we do.
You know, I watch you so much on Facebook. But I don't know how you're not as big as a barn, man. Thin, slim guy. He eats everywhere and tries everything. You got the gig. You got the best gig. Who needs to be a chef when you eat like you do, man?
Do you know what? You know what people still? You know, people leave my because I'm on all social media platforms. I manage 8. Okay?
Right.
And they're big now.
Mm-hmm.
And I have people get on me about lying about I don't go to those restaurants. You know, how can you put stuff you don't even go? You don't go. One man can't go to all those places. There's on a Saturday channel I'll hit 6, 8, 10 restaurants in one day.
I know.
One day.
You know, haters are going to hate.
Well, they are, aren't they?
I love a hater. I call them right out. I called one out that called me and that lied about me. And I called him out in L.A. and he said, well, yeah, I'll come to. I said, well, next time you're in Fort Worth, I'll let you critique me personally. You can come out and talk to me man to man and tell me I'm a coward. We'll see how big a coward you are. That hating stuff's got to stop.
No, it's got to stop. And this week too. World Food Championships coming up next week. This coming week, I'm going to be out there. I'll be out there Thursday and Friday, and I'd love to meet y'all. There's a lot of chefs out there I'm going to go meet, and you need to get tickets to that. It's going to be a fantastic deal, and I want y'all to go to Newton's website.
Go to the website, look up cowboychefnewton.com.
Cowboy Chef Newton.
I know, that's silly.
Yeah.
People say, you're no cowboy chef, Grady is. And I go like, well, thanks. Just take the wind right. I mean, maybe Tim Lovett, he's a cowboy chef too.
Yeah.
Can't be three of them in the same town?
Yeah, that's right. And you got a cowboy food critic.
You sure do. Yeah, well, then we got Kent Rollins out there.
Oh, yeah. That's right. We do, don't we?
We do.
So I appreciate y'all watching, and please be sure and share the segment for us. It's important that we get the notion out there. It's everybody loves to eat, drink, and have a good time. Look at that right there. Look at those biscuits. Look at that gravy. Oh, what's in the gravy real quick?
We got butter. We got butter, flour, milk, a little heavy cream, chipotle, salt, and pepper.
Chipotle.
That
word's sexy to me.
I always enjoy chipotle, but I always irritate about it. I'll just leave that alone.
That's all right. Thank y'all for watching and listening. We'll see y'all again next week. Trey's Chow Down Live. Thanks, Chef. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
All right, buddy.